Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is Six String World, and this is the Mad Professor Twimble. I did a review of this pedal back in 2017 for Performer Magazine, and I'll have a link to that article below so you can check that out as well. Right now, I'm gearing up to get back into live shows, and I've been going through some of the pedals that I happen to have to see if there's something I can do to spice things up. Especially since I upgraded my pedal board last year, I've been thinking of using some of those pedals in some upcoming gigs. Now, the Twimble is based off of the ever-elusive Dumble Overdrive Special Amp. For a quick primer on Dumble amps, Howard Alexander Dumble started modding amps in the 70s and later on moved into making his own amps. They were custom built to order, and he really tailored his amps to the player that was buying it. Needless to say, when the clientele is a pool of professional musicians, the price reflects that. And the true tone seekers in the know really desire his amps. And the prices can be 5 to 6 figures even for used ones. There have been companies that have tried to copy his amps, and I've played a few, and they do sound great, but even the prices of these tributes or clones or copies or whatever you want to call them, they're still a bit steep for my wallet. But there are a few pedal companies that have taken the amp-in-a-box pedal approach to the Dumble sound and have yielded some great results. But those can vary a bit, and I think I know why. As I said, no two Dumbles are alike. As I mentioned, he makes them for specific players and their playing styles. One made for Robin Ford will sound a bit different than one made for Carlos Santana, and so forth. So when a pedal company gets a hold of a Dumble and proceeds to use that amp as the basis for a pedal, more than likely it'll sound different from a different pedal company that used a different amp as their reference point. If you get one of the Dunlop MXR way huge style Dumble-ish pedals, or one of Vertex's versions of a Dumble pedal, there will be some variances and some similarities based off of the amp they may have and any other features they may be incorporating into the pedal. And when you consider the different types of amps you'll be plugging the pedal into, the variances can really start to add up. It turns into a your mileage may vary situation very quickly. So a definitive Dumble pedal, I can't attest to, but thankfully you do have some choices. As I mentioned, the MXR Way Huge line has some great versions available. Vertex Effects also has some options, and if you really want to deep dive into your wallet, Ethos has a great version as well. So there's one for every budget. Okay, back to this pedal. The Twimble is Mad Professor's version of the Dumble amp-in-a-box. They took their cymbal overdrive and paired it with their pre-driver pedal and put it in one box. The pre-drive is basically a boost with just a hot or cool selector. It's not super adjustable. The cool setting brings in at plus 6 dB and the hot brings it up to 10 dB, but it feels subtle in some strange way. There is an EQ bump that's noticeable, but it's very much a neat kind of nuance you can play with, which does, at first listen, you may go, oh, it's not changing much. And then we start playing with it. Now you start feeling the differences between the two. The sensitivity is an overdrive that also brings in some compression that sweetens things up. The accent control softens up pick attack, and the contour adjusts the overall output brightness. It gets darker to the left, brightens up to the right. The overdrive range is really nice, but not super excessive. For most blues and rock, it works really well with both single coil and humbuckers. There's a nice articulation there with no fizziness or flubby low end stuff going on. With a nice tight and responsive attack, it could easily fit into most modern sophisticated rock slash blues slash jazz situations. It responds more like an amp than an additional gain stage, to be honest. Adding in the pre-drive really enhances the overall depth. In most cases, just leaving the pre-drive on will add a lot more of an evenness to a clean tone, and then kicking in the overdrive is really how I like to use it. The accent control really interacts with the pre-drive very well, but it works more like a top-end definition that comes in. For rhythm parts, it really does the trick, and leads really do have a nice amount of sustain for most settings. It's not oversaturated. It sits a little bit higher than overdrives, but that might be an auditory thing where you're getting clarity without any hiss or any extra fuzziness. So that could just be something as a perception thing. It's just under the distortion range, but again, that clarity really helps out. With the attack and the contour and pre-drive, adding or subtracting brings in a little bit of more without unwanted sonic junk. Some players may think, oh, this is one of those guitar nerdy pedals that really only works in that sweet, smooth clipping, modern, bluesy player style. Yeah. It does deliver on that type of bluesy, tinged, highly articulate sound, but using it in any setting where you really do want that definition and clarity, it's really going to be worth the investment. It's also one of those drives that feels more like part of the amp when you do have it in front of it, where the presence of the added gain just seems to be more baked into the guitar sound rather than just slathered on. It is a feel thing, and many times just using it to make your playing dig a little bit deeper rather than stomping on a gain stage just hits you harder. It's a really nice approach. I've been using it with my Blues Junior, and it really works well. And I've used it here with my Strymon Iridium, and it's just as well. It's good. It works. It sounds fantastic. I don't think I'll ever have the income to justify a Dumble, and even some of the really nice clones might be a little too much just in what I'm doing musically. Anyways, so pairing this with my Fender Blues Junior really brings a big chunk of the Dumble experience at a fraction of the price. It's not a substitute for a Dumble, I know that, but at this price point, when you can get a pedal that sounds close to that amp for what you're doing, it really does make a difference, and it's something I find that is a nice flavor to have at my feet. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Is there an amp-like pedal that is your go-to? What kind of amp are you trying to capture? Maybe a Dumble, a Marshall, or a Vox? Have you found some good units that are great amp in a box version? Let me know in the comment section. And if you like this channel, hit subscribe, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button, and if you want to share it, well, there's a button for that as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.